The desperate call, the silence of deep space, was broken by a signal that would change everything. Dr. Elena Vasquez sat in the communications center of Lunar Station, her coffee growing cold as she stared at the impossible readings on her screen. After 15 years of searching for extraterrestrial intelligence, she had finally found it. The signal was complex, layered with mathematical patterns that screamed of intelligent origin, but beneath the structure lay something that made her blood run cold. Pure desperation. Elena's fingers flew across her keyboard, running the signal through every translation protocol Earth had developed. The universal mathematics were clear, but the emotional context was unmistakable. Someone out there was screaming for help across the void of space, and their voice was growing weaker with each transmission. Computer, enhance signal clarity and run deep linguistic analysis, Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the excitement and fear churning in her stomach. The artificial intelligence hummed to life, processing the alien communication with algorithms that had been refined over decades of theoretical work. 3 hours later, Elena had her answer. The message was from a species calling themselves the Luminari, inhabitants of a peaceful star system designated Kepler-4 for to be in human catalogues. They were under attack by something called the Shadow Claw Armada, a conquering force that had already destroyed 6 other civilizations in their region of the galaxy. The Luminari had maybe days before their world fell. Elena immediately contacted Admiral Sarah Rodriguez at Earth's United Defense Council. The Admiral was a veteran of the Mars colonial wars, a woman who had seen humanity's capacity for both creation and destruction. When Elena's report reached her desk, Admiral Rodriguez knew they were facing a decision that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. "Are you certain this is legitimate?" Admiral Rodriguez asked during their secure video conference. Her weathered face showed the strain of countless difficult decisions. "Admiral, I stake my career on it. The mathematical complexity alone proves intelligence, but the linguistic patterns match theoretical models we've developed for how alien communication might work. They're real, they're dying, and they're asking anyone who can hear them for help." "Admiral?" Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. "Dr. Vasquez, do you understand what you're asking? You want us to send human forces into unknown space to fight an enemy we know nothing about, all to save aliens we've never met." Elena leaned forward, her dark eyes intense. "Admiral, if we don't answer this call, we'll be telling the galaxy that humanity only cares about itself. This is our chance to prove that we're more than just another species clawing for survival." The Admiral made her decision. "Prepare a full briefing for the Defense Council. If we're going to do this, we need to do it right. Within 12 hours. The Defense Council had assembled in the underground chambers beneath Geneva. Representatives from every major nation on Earth gathered to hear Elena's translation of the alien message. The room fell silent as the computerized voice read the luminary's plea. "To any civilization receiving this transmission, we are the Luminari of the Kepler system. Our world has known peace for over 1,000 years. We are scientists, artists, and explorers. We have never conquered another world or enslaved another species. But now, the Shadowclaw Armada approaches our system. They have destroyed the peaceful worlds of Altair, Proxima, and 4 others. They take what they want and kill the rest. We have no weapons that can stop them. If anyone can hear this message, please help us. We offer friendship, knowledge, and alliance to those who would stand with us in this dark hour." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued that humanity wasn't ready for interstellar conflict. Others worried about the resources required for such a mission. But Captain Marcus Chen, Earth's most experienced deep space commander, stood and spoke with quiet authority. "Distinguished representatives," Chen began, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who had led humanity to the outer planets. "We've spent centuries wondering if we're alone in the universe. Now we know we're not. The first aliens we meet are peaceful people asking for help against bullies. If we turn our backs on them now, what does that say about who we are?" The debate continued for hours, but eventually, humanity made its choice. They would answer the call. Captain Chen was given command of the newly formed First Interstellar Fleet. 3 ships, the battlecruiser Indomitable, the assault carrier Resilient, and the support vessel Endeavour. Each ship carried humanity's most advanced technology and finest personnel. They would journey into the unknown to fight for people they had never met. As the fleet prepared to depart, Alina received another transmission from the Luminari. This time, the signal was stronger, more focused. A single alien face appeared on her screen. Tall and elegant, with silver skin and large golden eyes that seemed to hold the weight of centuries. "I am Ambassador Krell of the Luminary Council," the alien said, speaking in accented but clear English. "We have learned your language from your transmissions. Dr. Vasquez, your people's response to our call has given us hope in our darkest hour." Alina found herself looking at the first alien she had ever seen, and she was struck by how human the creature's expressions were. Fear, hope, and desperate gratitude played across Krell's features in a way that transcended species boundaries. "Ambassador Krell," Alina replied, "my people have voted to help you. Our fleet is already on its way. Can you tell us more about these Shadowclaw forces?" Krell's golden eyes darkened. "They are a warrior species from the Vega system. They believe that strength gives them the right to rule over others. They have conquered 12 star systems in the past century, enslaving or destroying every civilization they encounter. Their ships are fast and heavily armed. Their leader is Warlord Vex, a creature who has never known defeat." "What do you know about human capabilities?" Alina asked. "We have studied your transmissions. Your people come from what galactic classification? Calls a death world, the gravity, radiation, and atmospheric conditions of Earth would kill most species within minutes. That you not only survived, but thrived in such conditions suggests you may be more formidable than the Shadowclaw expect." Alina felt a chill. "Ambassador, are you saying that other species see us as dangerous?" "Dr. Vasquez, your planet is listed in galactic databases as uninhabitable. The fact that an intelligent species evolved there makes you unique. Most civilizations in the galaxy developed on peaceful worlds like ours. We have never had to fight for our existence every day the way your people have." The conversation was interrupted by proximity alarms. The Shadowclaw Armada had arrived at the edge of the Kepler system, their black ships blotting out the stars. Alina watched in horror as the peaceful Luminary defense fleet tried to intercept them. The battle was over in minutes. The shadow ships cut through the Luminary vessels like they were made of paper. "Ambassador, how long do you have?" Alina asked urgently. "Perhaps 2 days before they reach our homeworld," Krell replied, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "Dr. Vasquez, please tell your Captain Chen that we are grateful for their sacrifice. Even if they cannot save us, they have proven that there is still courage in the galaxy." Alina felt tears in her eyes. "Ambassador, you don't understand humans very well yet. We don't sacrifice ourselves for lost causes. We fight until we win." Meanwhile, aboard the Indomitable, Captain Chen was studying every piece of data they had on the Shadowclaw Armada. His tactical officer, Commander Sarah Park, had been running simulations for hours. Captain, their technology is advanced, but their tactics are straightforward. They rely on overwhelming firepower and intimidation. They've never faced an enemy that fought back effectively. Chen nodded. That's about to change. Have you analyzed their ship designs? Yes, sir. They prioritize forward firepower and speed. Their defensive systems are concentrated on the front and sides. They're not designed for the kind of three-dimensional combat we humans developed during the solar system conflicts. What about their crews? Based on the luminary data, they're physically powerful but not particularly creative. They follow standard attack patterns and don't adapt well to unexpected tactics. Chen smiled grimly. Then they've never fought humans before. Humans who learned to fight in asteroid belts, in the crushing depths of Jupiter's moons, in the frozen wastes of Pluto. We'll show them what happens when you threaten innocent people. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system to find a nightmare unfolding. The Shadowclaw Armada was bombarding the luminary homeworld from orbit, their weapons turning cities into craters. Hundreds of evacuation ships were fleeing the planet, trying to escape the destruction. All ships, this is Captain Chen. We're going to remind the galaxy why humans are classified as Deathworlders. Today, we fight not just for the luminary, but for every peaceful species that has ever faced extinction at the hands of bullies. The first interstellar fleet accelerated toward the enemy, carrying with them the hopes of two species and the promise that humanity would never stand by while innocents suffered in the depths of space. The Shadowclaw sensors detected the approaching human ships. Warlord Vex studied the readings with mild interest. 3 small vessels against my armada of 30 ships, he growled to his subordinates. Whatever these humans are, they have made a fatal error in judgment. What Warlord Vex didn't know was that he was about to encounter something the galaxy had never seen before, humans fighting to protect others, carrying with them all the fury and determination of a species that had clawed its way to the stars. From the surface of a death world, the stage was set for a battle that would echo across the galaxy and establish humanity's reputation as the species that answered the call when others could not. Asterisk. When Deathworlders answered the call, the human fleet approached the Shadowclaw Armada with the steady determination of predators who had never known fear. Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching as 30 enemy ships turned to face his 3 vessels. The odds should have been impossible, but humans had spent millennia proving that impossible was just another word for challenging. Captain, Commander Park announced from her tactical station, the Shadowclaw flagship is hailing us. Warlord Vex wants to talk. Put him through, Chen ordered, his voice calm despite the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that embodied every nightmare vision of an alien conqueror. Warlord Vex stood nearly 8 feet tall, his body covered in dark scales that seemed to absorb light. His eyes were black pools of malice, and his voice carried the arrogance of someone who had never been defeated. I am Warlord Vex of the Shadowclaw Armada, the alien snarled, his words translated by the ship's computer. You have entered a system under conquest by the Shadowclaw Empire. Surrender now, and I will allow you to serve as slaves. Resist, and I will add your bones to my collection, Captain. Chen stepped forward, his presence filling the screen. When he spoke, his voice carried the quiet authority of someone who had spent years commanding in the dangerous reaches of space. Warlord Vex, I am Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth vessel Indomitable. I'm here to deliver a message from humanity. Your attack on the Luminari ends now. Withdraw from this system immediately, or we will remove you by force. The Shadowclaw leader stared at the human for a moment, then began laughing, a sound like grinding metal. You threaten me, 3 tiny ships against my entire armada. What manner of fools are these humans? We're the kind of fools who traveled across the galaxy to help people we've never met, Chen replied. The kind of fools who don't abandon our friends when they're in trouble. Friends? Vex's laughter stopped abruptly. You risk extinction. For aliens you know nothing about. That's what humans do, Chen said simply. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. You have 5 minutes to begin withdrawing, or we'll show you why the galaxy classifies our homeworld as uninhabitable. The transmission ended, and the bridge was silent for a moment. Then Commander Parks spoke up, her voice filled with nervous excitement. Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildup across the enemy fleet. They're powering weapons and moving to attack formation. Chen nodded, just as expected. Signaled the fleet. It's time to show these bullies what happens when they mess with people under human protection. The Shadowclaw Armada opened fire first, filling space with energy beams and plasma torpedoes. Their weapons were powerful enough to vaporize asteroids, but the human ships were no longer where the targeting computers expected them to be. Chen had ordered evasive maneuvers that pushed the boundaries of what their ships could handle, using the same 3-dimensional combat tactics that had been developed in the deadly environment of the asteroid belt. Return fire, Chen commanded. Target their lead destroyers. The Indomitable's railguns opened fire, sending tungsten slugs accelerating at incredible velocity toward the enemy ships. The Shadowclaw had never encountered kinetic weapons before, their shields designed to deflect energy attacks. The solid projectiles punched through their defenses like they were made of paper. Aboard the Shadowclaw flagship, Warlord Vex watched in disbelief as 2 of his destroyers exploded under the human assault. How are they moving so fast? Their acceleration should be crushing their crews. His tactical officer, Commander Zark, was frantically analyzing the human ships. Sir, these humans appear to be naturally adapted to high-gravity environments. What would kill us is merely uncomfortable for them. Impossible. No intelligent species could evolve under such conditions. Sir, their homeworld generates twice the gravity of most inhabited planets. They're essentially wearing gravity suits that make them stronger and more resilient than any species we've encountered. Vex snarled in frustration. Then we'll overwhelm them with numbers. All ships, focus fire on the lead vessel. But the humans had anticipated this tactic. The Indomitable suddenly disappeared from sensors, activating a cloaking device that the Shadowclaw had never seen before. The human ship reappeared behind the enemy formation, its weapons targeting the vulnerable rear sections of the Shadowclaw cruisers. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Chen was coordinating the battle with the calm precision of someone who had spent years fighting in the dangerous reaches of space. Target their command ship's weapon systems. I want Vex alive to see what happens when you underestimate humanity. The human fleet moved through space like a pack of predators, using tactics that the Shadowclaw couldn't predict or counter. They fought with the adaptability of a species that had learned to survive in the most hostile environment imaginable. Their every move calculated to maximize damage while minimizing their own losses. Commander Park reported from her station. Captain, the Luminari Defense Coordinator is requesting permission to join the battle. Ambassador Krell says they have civilian ships that can be armed. Chen shook his head. Tell the ambassador that we appreciate the offer, but this is our fight. The Luminari have suffered enough. Today, they're under human protection. The battle raged for hours, but slowly the tide turned. The Shadowclaw Armada, despite their overwhelming numbers, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by an enemy that fought with a ferocity they had never encountered. The humans seemed to anticipate their every move, adapting their tactics in real time to counter whatever strategy the Shadowclaw employed. Dr. Elena Bosk, monitoring the battle from Lunar Station, watched in amazement as the impossible became reality. The humans were winning, not through superior technology or numbers, but through sheer determination and tactical brilliance. Ambassador Krell, Elena said during their ongoing communication, "Are you seeing this?" The Luminari diplomat's golden eyes were wide with wonder. "Dr. Vasquez, your people are fighting with a coordination and intensity that we have never witnessed. They move as if they have trained for this exact scenario their entire lives." "In a way, they have," Elena replied. "Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We've learnt to adapt, to overcome, to find victory even when the odds are against us. It's how we survived on Earth." On the Shadowclaw flagship, Warlord Vex was experiencing defeat for the first time in his life. Half his fleet had been destroyed or disabled, and the humans showed no signs of slowing down. His own ship had taken massive damage, its weapon systems offline and its shields failing. "Commander Zark," Vex growled, "explain to me how 3 ships are defeating my entire armada." "Sir, these humans fight unlike any species we've encountered. They don't follow standard tactical doctrine. They adapt, improvise, and seem to anticipate our moves before we make them. Their weapons are primitive but effective, and their ships are designed for survival rather than intimidation." "What do you mean?" "Sir, our ships are built to inspire fear and deliver overwhelming firepower. The human vessels are built to take punishment and keep fighting. They're designed by a species that expects to be outnumbered and outgunned." Vex stared at the tactical display, watching as his remaining ships were systematically destroyed by the human fleet. What manner of species builds their entire military doctrine around being the underdog? A species that has never known anything else, sir. These humans come from a world where survival required constant adaptation and resilience. They've brought those traits to space warfare. The final phase of the battle came suddenly. The Indomitable positioned itself directly in front of the Shadowclaw flagship, its weapons trained on the bridge. Captain Chen's voice filled the enemy command center. "Warlord Vex, your fleet is defeated. Surrender now, and your remaining crews will be treated according to the laws of war. Continue fighting, and we'll finish what you started." Vex looked around his damaged bridge, seeing fear in the eyes of his subordinates for the first time. These humans had done something that no species had ever accomplished. They had made the Shadowclaw afraid. "I yield," Vex said, his voice bitter with defeat. "But know this, you have made an enemy of the entire Shadowclaw Empire. We will return with more ships, more weapons." Chen's response was immediate and unwavering, "And we'll be ready for you. But understand this, Vex, the Luminari are under human protection now. Any attack on them will be considered an attack on Earth itself. You've seen what 3 human ships can do to your armada. Do you really want to find out what our entire fleet is capable of?" The battle was over. The Shadowclaw Armada, once the terror of 6 star systems, limped away from the Kepler system in defeat. The human fleet, battered but victorious, began rescue operations for the survivors of both sides. Ambassador Krell stood in the observation deck of the Luminary Command Center, watching as human rescue ships pulled Shadowclaw survivors from their destroyed vessels. Dr. Vasquez, your people are treating their enemies with compassion even after such a brutal battle. This is not typical warrior behavior. Elena smiled. Ambassador, humans learned long ago that today's enemy might be tomorrow's ally. We fight hard, but we also know when to show mercy. That's what makes us human. In the days that followed, the Battle of Kepler system became the stuff of legend across the galaxy. The story spread from system to system. Humans, the species from the Deaf World, had traveled across the galaxy to save strangers and had defeated a superior force through courage and determination alone. The Luminari offered humanity a formal alliance, sharing their advanced scientific knowledge in exchange for protection and friendship. Other peaceful species began reaching out to Earth, seeking similar agreements. The galaxy had learned that there was a new player in the cosmic arena, one that fought not for conquest or glory, but for the simple principle that the strong should protect the weak. Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Indomitable as the human fleet prepared to return to Earth. The mission had been a success beyond anyone's wildest dreams. They had saved an entire civilization and established humanity's reputation as defenders of the innocent. Captain, Commander Park said, "We're receiving a transmission from Earth. Admiral Rodriguez wants to speak with you." The Admiral's face appeared on the screen, her expression proud but concerned. "Captain Chen, the entire world is watching. You've made humanity heroes to species we've never even met, but you've also made us enemies of the Shadowclaw Empire." Chen nodded. "Admiral, with respect, we were already enemies the moment we decided to help the Luminari. The difference is that now they know we're not to be underestimated. What's your assessment of our readiness for a larger conflict?" "Admiral, if today proved anything, it's that humans have advantages in space warfare that we never realized. Our adaptability, our resilience, our refusal to surrender even when outnumbered. These are assets that no other species seems to possess. We're ready for whatever comes next." As the human fleet jumped to hyperspace, heading home to Earth, they carried with them the knowledge that humanity had found its place in the galaxy. They were not conquerors or empire builders. They were the species that answered the call when others could not, the Deathworlders who had chosen to use their strength to protect rather than dominate. The signal that had started it all, the desperate plea from the Luminari, had awakened something in humanity that would reshape the galaxy forever. They had proven that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe was not technology or numbers, but the simple decision to stand up for what was right, no matter the cost. And across the galaxy, other species took note. The humans were coming, and they brought with them something that had been missing from the cosmic community for far too long. Hope,